Recorded live with little to no editing, it's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Here at Defense Up, we like to do fun and interesting things and look over fun and interesting defenses, but remember, you want to build for raids and arena first, then whatever's left over goes into your war offense, and then we try to find the value in your defenses. I like to throw out that little, disclaimer every once in a while so people don't think, they're probably wondering why I'm giving such weird grades to weird teams. It's not just how big your team is, it's the value that you're getting out of them. This team right here is one of my favorites for new players. I always recommend this. It's an easy team to get. You don't have to build them very high. And it's a very frustrating team. For the small amount of resources that you put into it, your opponent has to put in more resources or use more meta teams to come in and deal with it. And so that's why teams like this get a better grade. Speaking of grades, we grade on 5 different criteria. It's who you're using, their placement, their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. I like the Hydra 1.0 team, full of minions, no Zemo. I think Zemo's too important to be used on offense. So I really like this build. We've got some wonky power levels going in here. Jubbam really likes Hydra Sniper for some reason. Also likes, I believe that's Trooper, which is kind of weird. I think, or is that Grenadier? Sorry, that's Grenadier. Okay, Grenadier's a great pick to be building up because he's got synergy with Zemo and some offensive hybrid flex teams that you can use. Hydra Sniper, he's just one of the harder hitting minions. I don't know why you'd build him up so much. Honestly, I like an even power level with the minions. Maybe Red Skull being a little bit or a little less powerful, doesn't really matter. And personally, my favorite is the Fortifier on all those minions, so when they die, they revive with that barrier. But you can do things like put Raider on there for the crit damage when they spawn in and spray everybody. And you can do things like Striker so that they're double tapping with their cleanse abilities, stuff like that. It's fine. This is a great team. I like the placement. Always put Red Skull somewhere in the middle, whether he be dead center middle or off in the back row, doesn't matter. But put him in the middle so he's absorbing some of the damage going in on those adjacent attacks and stuff like that, because he takes 0 damage while these guys are still standing. I'm going to give you an A for the team. Nice work there. Moving on to team number 2, which is Black Order. Let's see. We've got Striker, Raider, Striker, Skirmisher. I can deal with those ISOs. That's great. You've got a decent investment here. It's an okay team. They're getting a little over the hill, but man, they were good for a long time, weren't they? I think they have COVID to thank for that, tell you the truth. But I still think that they're a decent team. They can work well on either offense or defense. I like using mine to clean up like Web Warrior teams, or when you see those astonishing Axemen on defense, they go into it really well. The ISOs are pretty flexible on this team. Remember, Ebony Maw does not have healing in his kit, so this Skirmisher is a great pick for him, giving him the focus boost to land that ability block on a Phoenix when she pops up, or other whatever mystic controller, no, mutant hero controllers, whatever. It's a good pick. I like that ISO. All these ISOs are fine. Always remember that the married couple down here need to be Skirmisher Striker one way or another, because they call each other in for assists, and you get a lot of bonus effects if you have the vulnerable being placed by one of them when the other attacks. I can give you an A for this team. Looking good. Moving on. Team number 3 is Wave 1 Avengers with Coulson. Coulson's adding some value to the SHIELD members of this team, which is only Captain America. So I think Captain America's getting a health boost. We used to put Coulson in on this team in place of Thor, but Thor sucks on the Asgardian team right now. Hopefully when his movie comes out, he'll get some kind of a rework, or maybe we'll get an Asgardian character to the game. Who knows? But for right now, Coulson in here is an okay pick. So is Captain Marvel. As we progress through this roster, we're going to see some other characters that might fit in on this team better. Always put Captain America and Hulk off to one side. Then if you're running like the Black Widow and Hawkeye build, you're going to have Black Widow here, and then probably Hawkeye here, and keep Thor here. I like Thor better as a Raider on this team. We've got Coulson as a Raider instead, so we've got one person putting out vulnerables, 2 people soaking them up. I don't really like that. I would rather see Thor as a Raider. I'd like to see Captain Marvel replaced by somebody else. She's giving a military tag to Captain America. I think she gives a boost to some damage or something like that. So there is some synergy there. And then I'd like to see Coulson as a striker. I think the turn meter rewind on his basic is just too powerful to pass up. So I'm going to give this team an A- for right now. There's nothing egregious going on here. I just think there are some better choices that can be made. And as we progress, we'll see what some of those choices are. Over here, we've got Black Widow and Hawkeye on this team. See here, this Quake, I'd like to see Quake back on this team in this place. Quake opens up with some slows and stuff like that, slowing the other team down, allowing these big guys to do their healer effect and keep themselves topped off. I think that's probably a better pick to outlast the other team, waste that time, and have them time out against this build. But you put Quake over here. She's got some synergy with Yo-Yo because of her shield synergy there. You've got shield members up here. So there's some stuff going on where this kind of works. And it's not a bad team. I can probably give this team, I think an A- is what I want to go with. You've got 4 people putting out vulnerables, one person soaking them up. So that's probably the issue we have here. I would say make Quake a striker so that she comes back and places that slow, but she's already putting slow on 2 of 3 of her moves, and it's really not important. You kind of got to keep her as a raider. But if you moved her back to this team as a raider, you could then switch Coulson to a striker, and you would have her doing her AoE attacks and him rewinding turn meter. That's why I kind of like that pick over there. Otherwise, this is an all right team. I like the skirmisher striker combo you've got going on here. The ISOs are all native to these characters, so even though it's a lot of vulnerables and only one person soaking them up, it's kind of hard for me to recommend changing any of those ISOs because you're not going to find much value anywhere else. It's a decent team. I don't mind it at all. I think it could be kind of fun. So like I said, I think A- is what I want to go with on that. Then you got the Web Warriors with Symbiote Spider-Man. Symbiote Spider-Man is giving plus 30% health to Spider-Verse hero allies, which is all this. So he's giving 30% health to this team, but what you're missing out on, I think, is 30% damage coming from Punk Spider. And Punk Spider only gives that to Web Warrior allies. So when we come across Punk Spider later in this lineup, I don't think it's going to be such a great fit. Skirmisher is great. Raider on everybody. Skirmisher over here to make sure the stuns land, and Striker on that. I think those are great ISO picks for this team. I understand why you would put Symbiote Spider-Man on this team. I just don't like the pick personally. I'm gonna go A- on it. I think Punk Spider is a better pick for this. If you're gonna replace somebody, it's take Miles off of this team, put Miles on the YA and replace him with Symbiote Spider. Anyway, moving on, we've got the Symbiote team. Now here's where you put Punk Spider, and Punk Spider has virtually no synergy with this team whatsoever. He's just damage, and he gives that 30% bonus to Web Warrior allies. So these guys aren't getting that bonus crit damage or anything, and I think it's kind of a waste. I don't know how well he synergizes with their kits. I didn't even think to check out the old Symbiote team. Honestly, I think best thing to do is just switch it back. You're trying something new, and I applaud that. And I can give people a higher score for trying something new. I just think, in my opinion, it doesn't work as well as just going with the straight builds. Let's see, you've got Striker and Striker on these guys, with Striker on her and Skirmisher on him, and Raider over here. So you've got 2 people putting out vulnerables, 3 people soaking them up. I prefer Scream as a Skirmisher so that she's clearing those positive effects. I'm gonna go with a B+ on this team. I don't think it works well with Spider-Punk, and I think you need to change that one ISO. Moving on to team number 7 is the Emmarauders with the Goblin Queen. Okay. Oh, you got 2 red stars on her like I did. I'm sorry. I wanted higher red stars on my Madeline Pryor. I'm recommending to everybody who isn't in like a top war alliance, don't bother with Madeline Pryor. It's a $50 purchase to unlock a 2-star unlock character. It's not that great. She makes the team much better. She reduces the amount of counters that can come into this team, but there are still 3 counters that beat it. That's the Darkhold team, which beats just about everything, the Infinity Watch team, which beats just about everything, and then it's the SA with Kestrel and Sam, which beats just about everything. They're the 3 most powerful offensive teams in the game, or 3 of the top 5, I should say. And they crush this, you know? We're seeing 200k punch-ups from that SA team now. So it's not an unbeatable defense, and no matter how many stars you put on Madeline Pryor, it's not going to change that much. I don't like her. I don't think people should be buying her. I do think we should try and unlock her and throw her in on the team because she'll improve it. Just don't get too excited about it, man. She's just a character to waste your resources on. I think they gave her a skimpy outfit so all the guys would get excited about it and, you know, build her up or something, whatever. Fortifier, Skirmisher, Healer, Skirmisher, Striker, those are great ISO picks, great placement, good investment level. I can give you an A for this team. Good job. Team number 8 is the New Warriors with Chavez. Chavez is speeding up Dagger and Cloak. Cloak putting out those blinds early on. Dagger trying to get to her turn 2 ult a little bit faster. I think you could put in Shuri instead of Minerva, and there's a 1 in 4 chance that that energy is going to go to Dagger and she'll ult on turn 1, which could be devastating. Deathpool is in here for the extra damage. You've got 2 people putting out tons and tons of vulnerables, because remember they put vulnerables out on with their kits, and you've got 2 strikers in here soaking them up. I think that's fantastic. I think Shuri in here as a healer would be a better pick. Minerva doesn't have a lot of synergy with this team, but she's okay. Also, you could consider doing something like putting Drax or Red Guardian in here. Now, we're going to see that you use Drax and Red Guardian elsewhere, but those are really solid picks for helping Cloak and Dagger get off early and get doing the things that they need to do. I think this is an A- team. There's nothing seriously wrong here. I think there's just some better options of who you could be using. Team number 9 is Doom with Shang-Chi. Took Shang-Chi off of the H for H team. I wonder why. Here we have the Red Guardian starting off with that taunt. This is going to basically require you to come into this with Zemo so you can remove that taunt and get an ability block onto Doom, which would work really well. Another choice that you could use in here instead of Shuri, if you're going to move her to that previous team, is somebody like Emma, so you could cleanse that ability block that goes on Doom. So that would kind of eliminate one of those one-man counter teams that you're going to see taking this down. Otherwise, I think this is a pretty good team. You also have the opportunity that energy is going to go to Doom. Again, that's a 1 in 4 chance that's going to go to Doom and make him pop off. Everybody else on this team kind of opens up with their ultimate, or it doesn't really matter because who cares what he opens up with? He's just there for his taunt. But these guys open up with their ultimate move, I believe. And so the energy going to them is kind of a waste. So hopefully it does go to Doom. Let's see, Striker, Raider, healer, and Striker. You have 1 person putting out vulnerables, 2 people soaking them up. Surfer goes really fast, so he actually soaks up a lot of them. Alternatively, you could make Surfer a Raider. I think he's fantastic as a Raider. That crit damage on his AoEs and stuff, it's great. It gives you the opportunity to put more vulnerables out. We see a lot of teams with Surfer on it where you need more vulnerables, so he's a great pick to switch over to Raider, in my opinion. So again, I'm going to give you an A- for this team. It's not a bad team. I love that you're using Shang-Chi on this team instead of the H for H, because we're finding we don't need him on the H for H. We can do different things there. So props on that. I just think that there are some better characters you could be using in here, and I'd like to see you change Surfer to a Raider, especially for this build. Team number 10 is your H for H, and you put Drax in here so that you could pull Shang-Chi off of that team and watch him do his turn meter rewind elsewhere. Now, this is cool, and I like Drax here because this forces people who come in with a Dark Hunter team, they have to go after Drax first. He's big enough to hold up for a while too. Whoops, I just did something funny there. Switch that up. He holds up well enough that they actually have to like take him down, and you made him a fortifier too, so he can hang with his team for a minute, and that's good. For those of you who are putting in Drax and he's not built up very much, he's only going to take that 1 hit, might not work out so well for you. They can come in with other counters, but if you have a big Drax or a big Red Guardian and you want to try this little maneuver, it's great. What I think you should actually do though is put Drax in like one of the back row positions. That way, if they come into it with a Dark Hunter team, they attack Drax and they might chain the wrong way, or they chain the other way, and then you have, you know, one character that doesn't get flipped stuff on. Also, Drax isn't a Hero City character, so he doesn't have as much stuff happening to him as would say like Luke Cage, who has all their stuff flipped and the disrupts and all the defense down, all that negative stuff. There's some stuff going to happen to him, but not as much as a Hero City character. So this is kind of a cool pick for that. I like that. We have Skirmisher, Fortifier, Striker, Raider over here, and of course Fortifier there. These are great picks for the ISOs. I like it. I mean, there's other people you could use in place of Drax, but I think this is great. I like seeing you try new stuff, so I'm going to give you the A for this team. If you want to pull Drax, we've seen some other places you could use him on your roster that might work out real well. But I think this is great. I think the Heroes for Hire is old and busted, and we need to be doing new things like throwing in JJ instead of Shang-Chi and using Shang-Chi on offense for different stuff. He's a very powerful character. I myself didn't build him. I'm trying my best to skip him, which is proving out pretty painful. So if you're going at it, I recommend going ahead and building Shang-Chi. I don't like the character, but he does have a lot of value in a lot of places. So if you like what you saw, hit that like button. It helps me out. Subscribe for more videos, all the usual stuff. Remember, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.